And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
Hello, Bible Babe. Welcome back to the Bible Babe Network. My name is Jael.
My name is Connie.
This is the Bible Babe Network, where we have open and honest conversation about faith, mental health, and the Bible. We are unapologetically breaking stigmas, one conversation at a time. Today, we are going to be discussing a topic that is very personal, and that is the topic of society expectations versus leadership for women. As women, we are often told to be confident but not bossy, to prioritize family but also like hustle like we're childless. God forbid if you were unmarried after the age of 30.
So today we're going to talk about Deborah. And Deborah's story you can find in Judges between books 4 and 5. Really quick about Deborah, she was a prophetess, she was a military strategist, and she also was a judge. I mean, she was the first female judge in the Bible. She used to actually hold court under a tree in Israel. So that's kind of the basis of her. But I think mostly what we're talking about today ties into that she was the strategist leading Israel to victory. She was a fearless leader with no apologies. Truly, she did not follow societal norms or expectations in her time. And I also think, she was juggling a mental load besides all of the other things, kind of what you said, Jael, with, what's the expectations of society and how do we kind of balance things almost like childless, almost to the point where she was noted as being the mother of Israel. So that just kind of speaks volumes to what she was and how she represented women. So that she was designed by God. So she was bold, although that at the time when society expected her to be put in a little box, despite the fact that she was a prophetess, that she led Israel to victory. And so she basically, in my opinion, she was the epitome of what society expects us to be as women, is the do-all and be-all. So that's the intro to Deborah. And like I said, you can find her life story in Judges 4 and 5 in the Bible. Now, let's talk about our icebreaker. Now, our icebreaker today is, Jael, what is one expectation that society has placed on you as a woman that you have had to unlearn or push back against?
As women, society sets a lot of expectations for us. And for me personally, one thing I've had to push back against is that most people have kind of like categorized me as maybe too masculine. I'm very ambitious and I'm very goal oriented. And then we were talking about it before we started the episode. I also have a RBF, but people say that I have a mean face and, stuff like that. Men will always be like, oh, you need to smile more. You need to be friendly or all of that. And I think I'm a friendly person, but I'm just not like a smiley person, like smiling all the time. So that's something that I've had to push back against, because just not going to conform to that because that is what society expects of me, or that's what they want from me. And I'm not going to be less ambitious because I want to be in a relationship or I want to fit the boxes that they have, set for me. I am an ambitious person. That's just who I am. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. But I don't think that it's going to consume my life or, just be the only thing that I'm working on. But it is a part of my character, is a part of my personality, is who I am.
Agreed. I have one of them too. I've been told I have an RBF too. And I'm also been told that I'm assertive, I'm aggressive. But if I were a man, I would be pat on the back and say, "Good job,
Right,
bro. Good
right,
job."
right.
So, and also speaking to what you said is, yeah, I'm very ambitious. I'm single. I'm self-sufficient. I mean, we were joking earlier. I know how to change a tire. I can check my oil. I mean, I can do things that most women depend on a counterpart, a man, to do. And I think that goes into what our topic is today, is that what does society expect of us as a woman?
Right. And for you, the question I have is, if there were no limitations from society, from what society expects from women, whether it be in home, church, or wherever, what would you be doing? Would you be doing anything differently with your life?
Probably not.
Period.
Probably not. I love my life. I just love who I am as a person. I mean, I wish I could lose a little weight, but other than that, I love who I am as a person.
Yeah.
But what woman doesn't, you
Yeah.
know? And again, I don't think it's necessarily for me, it's for what society expects.
Yes.
I think I look great for my age.
You do.
I
You
mean,
do.
I'm serious. I'm healthy. I love the life that I have currently. I've been, just this past Sunday, I was ordained as a deaconess in Recreation, Fire, Miracles, and Ministries.
What?
And so that's kind of my spiritual life and my work life. I love what I do for the most part. I mean, I'm a counselor. I love helping people, and I just love my life. There's nothing that I would really change at this point, unless some fabulous man came knocking on my door, but to add to my life, not somebody who is going to say, well, I don't like this, and try to change me.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is, and also, like yourself, you said you're very independent, right? You are go-getter. There's not much that you don't want to do. So why should someone come into your life and want to change that? Why wouldn't they want to come into your life and embrace that?
Exactly. All right. We encourage you to drop your thoughts and your views on the icebreaker in the comment section. Let us know what you think. So as Deaconess Connie was saying, today's episode, we are going to be talking about Deborah, and her story, I find very inspirational, because for the time she existed in and for what she was able to do is just like mind breaking. Like, she was literally like Superwoman for her time. So the story of Deborah is in Judges chapter 4 and chapter 5. And basically at this time, Israel was ruled by King Jabin and his army general, Sisera. So they were not very good guys. They were bothering people, doing a lot of bad things.
They were tyrants.
Yes. So Deborah was a judge. She held court under a palm tree, it says in the Bible. She was also a prophetess. So she was constantly communicating with God, getting insights from God. So it comes a time when God is like, I want you to lead, Israel to battle, to set them free. So she is like, okay, well, how am I going to do that? And then she contacts Barak and tells him, okay, we need to get 10,000 men and Israel is going to go to war. So I need you to go. So Barak is like, I don't think I want to do that. Like, great, this sounds really good for you, but I don't think I want to do that. And so she's talking to him, and then he eventually is like, okay, well, I can do it, but I want you to come with me.
Well, no, he said he would only do it
Right.
if she came with him. That's the difference. Especially going into society, societal norms today and societal norms, then. It's like, I will do that, but after she convinced him, like you said, then on top of it, it's like, well, God told you, he didn't tell me, so I'm only going to do this if you come along. I guess to me it was like, well, if I die, you're dying too.
Yeah.
Even though he was a tyrant.
If I die, you're dying too. Okay. So they go to war, and obviously they win. Israel is set free. and then she comes back and she rules Israel, and she, does what she does because she's a baddie for the next 40 years, and everything is good. So the reason why we decided to talk about Deborah today, like I said, is because not only was she able to operate in the calling that God gave her, but she was also able to beat societal norms and go above and beyond. Because at that time, it was unheard of a woman leading the military. That's just it almost sounds like fiction,
Right.
because that was a job that was specifically reserved for men. And she knew that. That's why she went to ask this man, like, can you do it? And because it wasn't what God told him to do, it wasn't his calling, that's why he was like, yeah, I still need you to come and do it. Like, normally I do this, but in this occasion, for this particular situation, I need you to do this because I can't do it.
And that also, I mean, to think about, I guess what I'm trying to say is that how she prophesied that it would be a woman that would kill Sisera. I don't know how Sisera. And there was a woman that killed him.
Yeah, so
It wasn't Barack or his army.
so Jael actually ends up killing him. So after the war, they won. He runs away and he runs into Jael's tent, and she's, being hospitable, gives him milk. He's like, yeah, you want to take a nap? Take a nap. Your home is my home is your home. Mi casa su casa. Then while he's asleep, she takes what is the thing called? The thing from the tent?
The stake.
Yeah, and then she stabs him in the head and kills him and saves the day.
That's because she believed in the Israelites and what their motives were and what their dream was, vision, for the world. And even though she was married, she didn't believe what he believed. So that's why she killed him, because it was to benefit the Israelites.
I think it was her destiny to do that.
Of course.
Because you think about killing another person as a woman.
I can't think about that.
In that time, it
Right.
just...
I couldn't think about killing a man today, or any person today, never mind in that time.
Right.
And a woman, like you said, to kill a man.
Yeah. And not only a man, like a really powerful man. So it definitely was her destiny to do that. And she saved the day pretty much, because what if he had left her tent, gone to regroup, come back, and she saved the day. She just finished up the job perfectly and put a bow on it.
As women typically do.
So I actually want to talk about the pressures that women face in society. And for me, from my perspective and my age, the pressure that is, I wouldn't say that I'm facing now, but it's coming. It's probably going to start coming by next year. Is when are you getting married? When are you going to find a husband? So this pressure of being married before 30, or being married at 30 or your early 30s. And I just think that there's no one way to go about it. If you are a woman and you get married before 30, you could divorce. Get married at 30, you could also divorce. So it's I think we need to focus more on finding our purpose partner, our soulmate, and the person that God has ordained to be your spouse. As opposed to, if you're a woman, well, your biological clock is ticking and you need to have kids by this certain age and you need to get married by this. I just feel like that's jargons.
I agree. I mean, there's some women that are married, for 60 years, that were married when they were 18, 19, 20. And then there's some women that were married in their early 20s, early 30s, and they're divorced. I mean, I was married at 28 and I'm divorced. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I think that's the spiritual component, right? There's a lot of talk about society and what society expects of us. But we've been taught in our church, in Recreation, Fire, Miracles, and Ministries, that it's not about the person, it's about the person. It's about the person that God has created for us.
Yes.
Just like we are the women that God created for someone else.
Right, right.
So I think it's a whole lot to do with how you believe too, as well as the societal pressures that women are under. Because nobody's talking to men and saying,
Your biological clock. And the thing is, men are being praised for being single. They're like, oh, you have so much self-control. You have so much this and that because you're single. You're able to do. But when a woman is single and maybe going after her goals and, just living her life, is like, you're a demonic woman. You're a sinful woman. Burn the witch. Whoa. Whoa, like let a girl walk in her purpose.
Exactly.
For me right now in my life, I'm not focused on finding a man or being married. My biggest thing is I want to do what God has called me to do. And I know that marriage is a part of that, but I'm not going to move if God doesn't say move.
and I don't blame you because, like you said, it's a lot of time and energy. I have I work with a lot of women that are on dating sites and dating apps, and then I also have a bunch of women who really just want to meet someone organically. So I've been sharing with them, do things that you enjoy doing, like you said. I work with a woman who enjoys volunteering. She enjoys giving back. So go volunteer somewhere. That's where you're going to be able to meet someone that is like-minded, that you're not going to meet them and then you have to, they're trying to undo who you are, and vice versa. So I agree with you. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to find that person as a woman. But I also think that we have more choices to be able to say yes or no, thank you. I just do. But I think it has a lot to do with who we are as women and not so much as what our biological clock is saying or not saying. And then not only is that societal pressures for women, but what about the societal pressures at work, right? And when you're an assertive woman or you go after what you want, then you become aggressive.
And you're speaking up for yourself.
Exactly.
And like, God forbid, you know your worth and you know what you deserve. And you know what you should be paid, how you should be treated.
Exactly.
I don't know why that is, but in the workspace, that is so like frowned upon. If you come in and you're setting boundaries, I've experienced so many pushback from people, like when I go into a space and I'm setting boundaries because of who I am and what I know about myself and my worth. People just say that, oh, you come off as this very mean person. I'm like, I'm not mean.
Well, no, but my philosophy on boundaries, you're right, you're not mean. But when it comes to boundaries, if I'm exercising healthy boundaries and you're exercising healthy boundaries, then we're cool. Everything is great.
Right.
But if you're exercising healthy boundaries and I'm not, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Because what happens is somebody's feelings are always going to get hurt if one of those two people are not exercising healthy boundaries. Because that's what happens. It's like, how dare you speak to me that way?
Right.
Why would you say that? I worked in a company one time, just funny story. I exercise healthy boundaries my whole life. Again, I'm considered an aggressive, assertive woman. And I was promoted into a position, and I asked to get a certain salary that I felt I deserved. Now, my current supervisor was not making what I was asking for. I was paid what I asked for. Within 3 months, she left because she felt that and I said to her, ask. Why are you getting mad
Closed
at
mouths
me?
don't get fed.
Amen to that.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
I'm a firm believer that you have a 50-50 chance of getting what you want. But if you don't ask, you have no chance. There's no chance in the world that you're going to get what you want if you don't ask. So I was like, wow. I really learned from that. Was like a good 30 years ago. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was my first clear understanding in the workplace that if you are assertive and ask for what you want and what you need, and again, what your value is.
Yes.
Because if I don't know what my value is, then how can I expect you to know what my value is?
Yeah. And so then you will be in a position where you're being underappreciated, you're being undervalued, and then you're not speaking up, and people are taking advantage of you, and they feel like they can do that, or it's their right to do that because you haven't set your boundaries. You haven't let them know, like, you can't talk to me like that. You can't, like, everywhere I go, I make it known, like, you cannot talk to me like that. You cannot, this is, you can't do that. I'm not going to do that to you because I respect you as a person. So I don't want you to treat me that way. And if I feel like I'm being treated in any way that I don't treat myself, I'm very quick to correct people because I'm not going to give you that treatment. So I don't expect that from you. And I'm not going to tolerate that from you.
Right. I agree. And that's to me, that's a plus. That is a huge pat on the back because not all women do that. But now again, going back to the societal norms, a man doing that, good job, bro. High five. But so
like,
what is
he's
the
a strong
difference?
man.
Right. So what's the difference? Because I'm not a man, I shouldn't be treated the way men are treated. They're going to exercise their healthy boundaries, but we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be doormats. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it should be equal. So feminism. In today's society, we're talking about, feminism and how it's disparity. There's not a disparity. I think feminism, as you had said earlier, it benefits everyone. Like
Equality.
Yes, thank you. So it's just equality, and it's equality for everyone, not just for females.
Yeah, like you said, feminism benefits everyone. And there's this thing where nowadays in society, it's like if you brand yourself as a feminist, they automatically just are like pitchforks. We're gonna kill you because like it's viewed as such a negative thing now, and it's really not. I remember there was this video I saw where this pastor was like, it was a 30-second clip. She was like, oh, you can be a feminist in the workplace, you can be a feminist in society, but don't be a feminist at home because your husband is your head and he's the head over you. First of all, your husband should be a feminist too, because when you step outside of the house, you're stepping out into society. And we all know that in most cultures, in most societies, women are not treated as human beings. So if your husband is not viewing you as a human being or as a person that's worthy of respect, like he is, then what's going on?
Well, to me, it's a hypocrite. You're asking me to be a hypocrite. You're asking me to be a certain way in one environment, but not a certain way in another environment. I struggle with that a lot with women in church. It's, you have a conversation with them outside of church, and they're very different than when they're in the church. Like cursing, for instance. I tried very hard not to cuss. I tried very hard because that's not the godly way to act, whether you're a woman, a man, a child, anyone.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from, is that if you're acting a certain way at home, you should be acting the same way at work.
So just
in
be
society.
consistent in
Yes.
every. I hear what you're saying, but I think what comes into play sometimes is people trying to adapt to their environments. Like if you are a Christian or not, when you get to church, you know that you are supposed to put on a certain persona, regardless of if you're Christian or not. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm saying the way that I see it is like people try to adapt to their surroundings. But to your point, what you're saying is if you're a Christian, be consistent all around, which is very true. So if you are a feminist, like she's saying, be a feminist at home. And from the perspective of the lady that I was talking about, like people don't want to submit to their husbands because, oh, they're feminists. I think one thing that we forget in the Bible also talks about husbands submitting to the wife as well. So you loving somebody will make you want to submit to them. And I'm not saying like don't be the man of the home or don't be the head of the household, but you can submit to your wife by loving your wife. Submit to your kids by loving your kids. That's how you show that you are a powerful man. That's how you show that you're a man of God. God submitted his son to us. Jesus came to earth to die. He could have been like, I got my life figured out. I have all of these things. Like, I'm not going to die for these people. Why would I want to leave what I have going on to come and die for these people for what? And I have nothing to gain. Like, I'm going to come and be nice to them, and then they're going to kill me in such a shameful manner too. So submission is for both parties. And I definitely think that everyone should and can be feminist.
I agree. I agree. And I think also is that when you're submitting to each other, then you, like you had said, you're loving each other. And you just, if you love someone, you will automatically want to submit to them.
There you go.
And what, no matter who you are in the person's life. And also, you know, speaking of children, it's if you treat your child in a way that you want your child to be treated, then you're going to get a submissive child, and they're not going to go against what you say because they love you. They're going to want to please you.
Yes.
So I think it's the same, whether it be mother, child, husband, wife, cousin, grandparent. It doesn't matter. I mean, again, it's just truly loving someone, and then you will always submit to them.
Yep. Society expectation takes a mental toll on women. So like everything that we're talking about, it like messes with you mentally. I know for me personally, I struggle with burnout and I struggle with perfectionism. And I just think it's hard because I know that I can't be perfect in everything that I do, but I still strive for that perfection. And it leaves me in a state where most times I'm stuck. I'm a creative personality, so I'm unable to push out a lot of my creative projects because I'm constantly in this state of perfectionism. Okay, I can't be perfect, work, burnout.
But that's why you're burning out.
Yeah.
Is because you're trying to maintain a perfect ... and there's no such thing as perfect. The only thing that I feel is that, because I also used to be, I have to be perfect. This has to be, I mean, if I'm making something, it has to be perfect. It has to look perfect. It has to be perfect. You're a creator. Same thing. So that's why I say all the time, I can only do the best I can at the time with what I have.
Yes.
Now, if I'm missing something, and let's say I'm baking a cake and I'm missing something, then how can I replace that something to make it the best I can at the time?
Yes.
Because we've already lost the perfection part. That's just went out the window when we lost an ingredient.
Yeah.
So, but that would, if you just consistently go after the same thing over and over, you know, like I had said earlier, and this is full disclosure. I'm all about full disclosure. When we recorded our first episode, it was very blurry. And there were, I think you counted 90 ums or something of that nature. But it wasn't that it was perfect we were looking for. It was just a very blurry picture.
Yeah.
And that's why we redid it. And that's why I'm saying it's like we're not looking for perfect because we're not perfect people. And we want people to join us. We want people to join in on the conversation because it's real. We are real. And you might come across some ums, but we're real. We're two real women that are trying to bring two very important topics together in the best way that we can. Is it going to be perfect all the time?
No.
No. No.
No. And then to what you're saying, community also matters a lot because when I'm burnt out, the people around me help me a lot. And it also just reminds me of in the story of Deborah when she delegated to Barak, like God was like, go to war. And she was like, I know this person that has this army and he usually does this, like this is his field. So she delegated, went to him. So I think when we're struggling with perfectionism, burnout, whatever it may be, there's people that are around you that may be willing to help. So collaboration, talking to people.
Exactly. Because again, if I don't have an ingredient for my cake, do you have it?
Right.
And then this way, and if you don't have it, maybe you know somebody who does have it. And then, you know, it just trickles down that way. But I mean, because we can't carry it all. We just cannot carry it all. No matter what we try to do, we cannot carry it alone.
Yes.
And that's why it's really important for us to remember as independent women that we do need community. We do need collaboration. It may not be through a marriage, but there is definitely collaboration and community.
And also just clarify. I don't want anyone to get the idea that maybe we are against marriage, or that we're speaking against marriage, or
No.
we're saying that as a woman that you should not want marriage.
No.
If you feel like marriage is in the purpose of God for you, or even you just want it, you can pursue it as a woman. You can go after it, and you should not feel any type of way for wanting that. But first, are you comfortable with yourself? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing in life? Don't just go and pursue a man because you feel like a man is going to complete you, or you feel like he's going to bring you happiness, or he's going to make you whole and fulfill and all of that. What we're saying is, first be content with yourself.
Right. And the man should compliment you.
Yes.
Not try to change you. And that is, to me, is a healthy way for everybody to think about, because again, like you said, I've been married, been divorced, and it is what it is. It just wasn't the right person for me, and I wasn't the right person for him.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I am still not looking for or wanting to find someone who can compliment me. Like I had said earlier, I don't want to get into a relationship that the person is going to try to change me, because I'm not going to try to change them either.
Yeah, so a person, like you said, that compliments you, and that is made for you. Like, God has ordained them for you.
Exactly.
That's why I keep just trying to nail on. And I think in all of this, we have a lot of unlearning to do.
Right.
So unlearning what we thought was right, unlearning, perfectionism, wanting to work alone. Even me now, I still struggle with hyper independence. I find it so difficult to ask for help. And it's not being like really prideful, but it's so difficult to ask for help when I need help, because I'm just like, I think I can do this, or maybe I believe I can do it. But most times the journey will go smoother if you have someone to help you do it, even if you know how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think, like you said, it has a lot to do with community. It has a lot to do with collaboration, because we all have our own strengths. So if your strength is in this area and my strength is in that area, and we put them together, we're just equally stronger.
Yes.
We're just equally stronger. And going back to the unlearning is unlearning that we can be independent, and we can also be interdependent.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong. It's
Yes.
just what we need and what we want as people, not just women, but as people.
Yes. One of the things that most women struggle with is this idea of like performance. Like, we have to be super mom, you have to be the super employee and do everything and juggle everything. No matter what you do, I want us to always remember that we are worthy not by our actions or by what we do, but we are worthy because Christ is.
Amen.
So that is just it. You don't have to do anything to be worthy. You don't have to do anything to be desirable. You are because he is. That's it.
Amen. And we are all uniquely made. We are all uniquely created by God. And not all of us are going to fall into the Proverbs 31 woman.
Ooh, talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Because this idea, everywhere on social media, I see people like, oh, well, I need to be the Proverbs 30. I will be the first one to say, I am not a Proverbs 31 woman. I may be striving towards that. And, that may be what, I wouldn't say what God wants for everyone, but maybe that's what God wants for me. So I may be striving towards that, but I am not there yet, because who's waking up at the crack of dawn to cook for their husband? Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but there's just like some certain things in that chapter that I'm just not there yet.
But not only that, I'm going to back you up for a second. Even if you do wake up at the crack of dawn to do this for your husband, to do that for your husband, make breakfast before he goes to work, make his coffee or his tea before he goes to work. If it's not valued, and you're not loved, why would you continue to be submissive if the person isn't reciprocating that?
Yes.
So I agree. I'm striving still to be the Proverbs 31
I
woman.
think we all are. We all are. I have not met a single person that would tell me that they are the Proverbs. No, we all are striving, whether it be through our character, our actions, in one way or the other, we are lacking. There's no person that's 100%.
Well, I would
At
go
all.
forward and say it's a Proverbs 31 person, not just a Proverbs 31
31 woman.
woman.
So we have come to the end of the conversation. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This was actually a very good conversation. I really, I really did enjoy it. And the key takeaway from this conversation is that God, like she said, God does not limit leadership by gender. He defies it by obedience. And one thing that we should take away from this conversation is stop performing. You don't need to perform for society. Remember that you are because he is. You are worthy. And that's just full stop right there. Anything to add?
No, I agree. I just agree with you totally. It's like I had just said, it's not about gender. It's just a Proverbs 31 person.
The scripture we want you to meditate on this week is Judges chapter 5, verse 31. I mean, if you have the time, please do read chapter 4 and chapter 5, but if you don't have the time, chapter 5 verse 31. And the reason why that verse specifically is stuck out to me is because it just focuses on Deborah's legacy of peace. So that's just something that I want you to maybe meditate on this week and, think about, dwell on.
I like that though. Can I stop you for a second? Because that's what I think the striving factor is peace. Whether you are married, you're not married. You're in a relationship, you're not in a relationship. Loving yourself independently, not knowing, who your soulmate is, not meeting them yet. It's just peace. If you
Yes.
can live in peace, then I think all the other things will fall into place.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. In this walk in life, that's what we're striving for, peace. Whether it be in your relationship with God, whatever, that you're just looking for peace of mind. Because the world out there is not giving you peace of mind. So you have to create that environment of peace for yourself and with every relationship you're in. I love that.
Yep.
So in next week's episode, we are going to be talking about boldly clothed fashion, faith, and expression. So, and we'll also be talking about modesty, as in like the posture of your heart, and modesty in dressing. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. Please tune in for next week's episode. And yeah, so this is where I'm going to plug our social media platforms. If you are listening on YouTube, then I hope that you're subscribed. Please do us the hugest favor and subscribe. We are on every platform you get audio. So you can subscribe to our podcast on those platforms, and please leave us a ratings. And as I always say, we want to hear from you. Yes. We want to talk to you. Like, leave us comments, whatever, we will reply. We are working on building this community. Like we always say, we want this to be a safe space for women. So if anything in the conversation that we've just had stuck out to you, let us know your thoughts, your key takeaways. And also, don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at the Bible Babe Network. And check out the content that we'll be posting throughout the week. And we love you. Stay safe and have a great week.
God bless.
Bye.